So once more for our second Yoga Nidra of the day, I invite you to set an intention one more time. To be as still as possible and as present as possible through the practice. Allow yourself to ground, to land. Be good to yourself. Stay warm, stay comfortable. Let the weight of yourself be fully in the mat, fully in your body, and breathe. Just breathe. And whatever arises for you in those first breaths of the practice, just honour that. We're going to take 2 rotations, 2 journeys around the body today for this practice. The first is a mama point rotation. This is based on that ancient Nyasa practice. It's a beautiful route. And if you'd like to, what I invite you to do on this round, as I bring your attention to each part of the body in turn, if you'd like to, you can imagine anointing that part of the body just with a drop of oil or just a blessing, whatever works for you. Or you can simply bring your awareness to it and move on, that's okay too. We'll begin with the crown of the head. The crown of the head. And the third eye center, the center between the eyebrows. The center of the throat. The right shoulder joint. Right elbow. Right wrist. Each of the fingers of your right hand in turn. Back to the right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of the throat, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, and each of the fingers of your left hand in turn. Back to the left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of the throat, heart, center, left side of the chest, heart, center, right side of the chest, heart center, navel, front of the pubic bones, right hip, right knee, right ankle, each of the toes of your right foot in turn, right ankle, knee, hip, front of the pubic bones once more, left hip, knee, ankle, toes of the left foot now in turn, left ankle, knee, hip, front of the pubic bones, navel, heart, center, center of the throat, center of the eyebrows, crown of the head once more. Bringing the focus of your attention now into the mouth. Feeling the tongue in the mouth. Can you be aware of the roof of the mouth and the walls of the cheeks and the floor of the mouth, of your teeth? The sensation of lips together or gently parted. Be aware of the full sweep of your jawline. And on the upper lip, the feeling of breath coming in and out of your nostrils. You feel that slightly cooler air coming in and the warmer air coming out. Be aware of sensation, physical sensation, all the way up into the nostril. Into the sinuses. Be aware of the cheekbones and the eyes and their sockets, and the eyelids and the eyelashes. Can you feel where your eyebrows are? Be aware of the space between them. And the full sweep of the forehead now. All the way to the hairline. Imagine each hair on your head. How much of that can you feel? Can you feel the sensation of the hair all the way down to the nape of the neck? To where the hair touches the ears, the outer shell and architecture of the ears, and the inner ears back into the sinuses and the other inner ears, and into the throat and the feeling of breath here in the throat coming in and out. So the whole head is one radiant field of sensation, of presence. And from the throat, being aware of the shoulder blades and the skin of the upper back, of the collarbones and the armpits, being aware of the bones, muscles and joints down both arms, all the way down the upper arms, the lower arms. That delicate skin on the inside of the elbows and the inside of the wrists. Sensation reaching now all the way into the palms of the hands and the backs of the hands and into each and every thumb and finger until the whole part from the tips of the fingers back up to the head is one field of sensation, present and still. Still but full of awareness, full of life. And come back to the experience of breath in the throat and the rising and falling of the chest that goes with that, the rising and falling of the ribs and the collarbones, the expanding and contracting of the sides of the body, the full length of the spine, all the way from the head, all the way down to the tip of the tailbone, and the skin of the back, and the skin of the belly, and under the lungs, the rising and falling of the diaphragm, the rising and falling of the heart, and beneath them all those soft organs of the body. You don't need to name them, you don't need to know which is which. Just being aware of that slow movement of liver and stomach and intestines, of all those different parts of you, and then down into the private areas of the body. Sensation in the buttocks and in the groins and in the hip joints. And reaching that same awareness, that same full sensation of the body all the way down the muscles and bones of the legs. Experiencing the difference between the kneecaps and the backs of the knees. The inner and outer edges of the knees. Between the calves and the shins. How the ankle shades down into the heel. And the heels of the feet. And the tops of the feet, the insteps. The soles of the feet. And each and every toe. Can you be aware of each and every toe? Both separately and together. Until you are aware now of the whole body, from the tips of the toes and the tips of the fingers to the crown of the head, one radiant, continuous field of sensation, of presence. And there is no need to move. There is just rest and sensation, and the gentle flow of breath. The gentle flow of breath. The gentle flow of breath. And create a feeling now for me as if that whole field, the whole body was warm and hot. How hot can you imagine the body being right now? Like a gorgeous summer's day on the beach somewhere. Just right on the edge of what is comfortable. The heat inside you, the heat radiating down upon you. And then release that, and with this same embrace, imagine an experience of cold, of chill, of bright, cold winter mornings, cold tiles underneath your feet, whatever it is. Can you imagine chill, coolness through the whole body that's just on the edge of comfortable? Just at the limit of a pleasant experience. And can you move between those two at any rate that works for you? from heat to coolness, backwards and forwards. Expanding the range of what's comfortable here. From hot to cold and back again. And then see if there is a moment. Is there a moment where you can feel both of them at the same time? Touch both of them at the same time. And now let them go. Let it go. And recreate now an experience of feeling fully bright and awake. Very, very present. As awake as you possibly can in this moment. And then finding its opposite. How sleepy can you allow yourself to feel and still stay present? And can you move from one to the other of these? From a drowsiness to alertness, from sleepiness to being wide awake. Can you move between those two states? And then let them go, let them drift. And I invite you to call to mind an experience or a memory or a feeling of being quite stressed, quite uptight. Again, stay within the range of what is comfortable. But can you recreate that as fully as you can? Can you remember how it feels in the body to feel that way? Now can you recreate, imagine a similar experience, but one this time of feeling completely relaxed, with no cares in the world. Recreating that as fully as you can in this moment. And here again, can you move between one and the other? As easy as you would move between any other pairs of opposites. Can you imagine yourself in a place where both were true at the same time? And then let those go too. And I invite you to imagine for me now the following things, just for a moment. A circle of friends. A circle of friends. A candle flame. A candle flame. A yogi in meditation. A dark night sky. A frail old woman. Looking down into a deep well. Waves breaking on a beach. Birds flying overhead. The wind coming in from the ocean. A restless ocean. An eternal, restless ocean of waves. Let those go too. Consider, if you will, all of the many things that you own. How many can you think of? Things that you've bought or been given. And as you think of each one, remember that you are more than that, whatever it is. Now consider, if you will, if you're still with me, consider all the different things that you know, the things that you've been told or the things that you've found out. And as you think of each of them, remember you are more than that too. And as you let those two drift, consider the things that you believe. What are the things you believe in your heart? And as you remember each of those, can you remember that you are more than that too? And let it drift. Can you consider the things that you love to do? Those things that people know to be true about you, the things that you like to do and spend your time doing. And as each one comes to your mind, remember that you are more than that too. Finally, can you call to mind the beings that you love? Family, friends, teachers, students. Whoever those beings are that you love, can you call each of them to mind and then remember that here too you are more than that. Remember each one, honour them, and let them drift. And I invite you now, if you're still with us, to repeat to yourself, just silently, with each exhalation, repeat to yourself the words, I am that. I am that. Now repeating to yourself simply the words, I am. Again, just with each exhalation, I am. Now with each exhalation, repeating yourself just the word I. Repeating the word I. And whenever you're ready, releasing that too, until all you are left with is the silence. And if you find it, that gentle state of suspended bliss. Become aware once more of the physical breath flowing in and out of the body. Become aware of the weight of your body on the mat or the blankets or the blocks. the blankets and covers around you. Of the space you occupy within this room. Recall the shape of the room and the people around you. Hear the sounds not just inside the room but outside if you can. When you're ready, inviting your breath to begin to deepen. When you're ready, beginning to stretch and move into your fingers and your toes. When you're ready, starting to make other movements, whichever movements make sense to you right now. A number of you went fairly deep, so you might find it quite a long way to come back. You have all the time you need to get there. If stretching long through the body would help, taking the arms overhead, try that. If curling up and squeezing in would help, then go ahead and try that. Take any route that makes sense to you to come back to a sitting position. Take all the time you need, and when you get there, I suggest you just give your face a bit of a massage and do the rubbing hands together thing. You can do that lying down if you prefer. Just give yourself a bit of a wake-up massage around the eyes and the jaw and the ears, wherever makes sense. And I'll be waiting.